Hello everybody, welcome to a really honestly, sincerely, and genuinely special edition of our Video Hate Squad series. It's not often that we get to truly celebrate somebody who, in my opinion, has never been given his full due. If you want to elaborate on this.
Yeah, this is difficult for me to do, even. I've known about this guy since I was about 16 years old when I was writing for horror film fanzines for a guy in Chicago, and he sent me a comp tape with a bunch of films by a guy named Dave "The Rock" Nelson. And it forever changed my life. Meeting Dave for the first time today was kind of like meeting Mickey Mouse, you know. It was meeting a real life cartoon character. It's like someone you don't really think about as being real. But he's very real, and he's here tonight.
It's pretty unbelievable that somebody can devote themselves to doing something that they truly love with absolutely no reward for decades. And if you think about it, like, how many people do you know that really do that just for the love of something? And not saying that, you know, benefits them, like makes them feel good, like inside, or gives them an orgasm, or does whatever things that people selfishly do things for, but just they do something to make the world better that most people aren't even aware of. And like this is like the kind of thing that, you know, nuns are famous for, and like that popes should be doing. You know, like that, you know, that like should be. and this is a person who has like just one day sat down and decided, I am going to improve the world with absolutely no financial support and no critical support from anybody, and I'm going to make this my life's mission.
He is like a living embodiment of a middle finger in the face of everybody who ever told you that you cannot do what you want to do. Your teacher, your mom, your dad, anybody who told you that you couldn't do something, this is the man, yeah, the Pope, the cops. This man proves that you can accomplish anything that you want to accomplish, regardless of means. All you need is heart.
So we are incredibly pleased to present to you guys a human being who is more than a human being, who came out here on a train for this show, just to like say hello, you guys, and bathe you in his genius, and really and sincerely, like I think his incredible just ability to entertain and do things like no one else has ever done or will ever done. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pope, aka actually the Pope of horror films. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome David "The Rock" Nelson.
I'm gonna get you my devil in. If you don't watch this movie by The Rock, yeah, that's right. And I got you my Jordan Giant Horny Toad Monster. Yeah, here you go. Die. Yeah, I am the Edward of the 21st century. Do you understand? Because Michael Flores of Psychotronic Film Society gave me that name 2007 at the world's premiere of Werewolf and the Witch. And if he said so, it must be true, because he's the fearless leader of Psychotronic Film Society. And because Svengoolie said I'm the Edward of the future, and beyond that even. So if Svengoolie said so, it must be true, because it was on the TV.
Hey Rock, tell us, just for people who might not be familiar with your work, tell us about what your mission is when you make movies.
Because it's fun and because I want to.
It's the best reason to do anything.
I want to entertain people. I like to make people laugh. If you laugh, I've done a good job. I don't need no stinking Academy Award. Do you understand? You don't want to give me an Academy Award, that's your loss. You don't want to watch those boring movies about some old lady that's dying and her whale or her pet seal encourages her to live on. Let's say, you know, some kiddie movie, you know, like cartoon. I like cartoons too, but we're adults. We don't want to watch kiddie stuff. I don't make kiddie movies. I want kids to have good entertainment, but I gotta make it entertaining for adults too. I mean, you know, they can't just watch all the G-rated stuff. You gotta do something a little outrageous. That's why sometimes I do outrageous stuff. Like dinosaur woman laying eggs. One guy wouldn't show a movie. He wouldn't show the movie publicly because he he didn't like the dinosaur laying eggs. You know, pushing a styrofoam egg out of the bottom of my shirt. I wore a dinosaur mask. I'm pushing a styrofoam egg out, you know. But he didn't like that. But, you know, like I said, somebody's got to be a little outrageous. Just be yourself. Because God made everybody different. You're all unique. We're all special in our own way. Don't let anybody tell you that you're not important, because you are important, brother. And don't let your mom talk you out of making movies. If you want to make movies, just do it. Don't let your friends say, oh Dave, you know, it's good to show to the family, you know, but, you know, I would never buy it. I would never sell it. One guy actually told me that when I was working on my first volume, Frankenstein vs. Saddam Hussein. And, but I didn't listen to him. I didn't like him saying that. And guess what? He was secretly copying a copy of my movie while I was showing it to him. And here he's telling me, oh, Dave, you know, I would never buy it. I would never sell it. Well, then why is he copying it then? It must be good. And then he sends the copy, an extra copy, to a magazine, and guess what? And that magazine liked it, and they've been writing articles on me ever since. So they had a full-page article on me, you know. So, you know, I'm the worst filmmaker of all time, but at least they're fun to look at. Oh, sorry, I'm going to shut up there.
That's okay, no, sorry. One thing about your movies, too.
Anyway, thanks for having me, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, and thank you, Zach. Thanks for telling him. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for bragging on me. Okay.
Well,
thanks to Josh Johnson and his brother for feeding me good, for getting me over here, and, you know, giving me a place to sleep. At least I don't have to sleep in the woods like sometimes I had to sleep under ladder wells at monster conventions. At the Monster Bash, before I was a guest, I slept under the ladder well at the Ramada in Ligonier, Pennsylvania. And this guy took a picture, and I showed him where I slept. And then at Famous Monsters 93, I had to sleep in an abandoned room under construction about a block from the Famous Monsters down in Arlington, Virginia. And the whole floor was under construction. I hid behind a mattress so the security guy couldn't see me.
The thing that really impresses me is that you always have stories like that where you're just like fighting to get your stuff out, and you work hard, and it keeps you like strong and powerful. It keeps you in shape.
Yes, and I never took a steroid. I'm a supporter of strong athletes against steroids. And I'm 55, but I still got it. I never took a steroid. I eat good. I drink my milk. I got my protein. What was the name of that restaurant we went to, Josh? What? Which one? Yeah, Threadgill's today, but yeah, I had the chicken fried steak. I built your muscle. But where did we go the day yesterday? You know, where we had the Love Mags or Love Magus or what's it? Magnolia Cafe. What do you call that stuff? It rhymes with ants. Hormigas? Yeah. Hormiga means ant. By the way, the name of my movie in Mexican is Hormiga Diablo Dos. That's Devil Ant 2 in Spanish.
He's got copies of some of his movies that he's going to be selling after the show. Right? Is that true?
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I eat good and I drink my milk and I work out. I'm going to show you. Look.
Show it. The Rock's got it. Show him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going.
Fast.
Okay. 6.
That's 5.
5.
I don't need the cheese. I want you to be honest, man. That's 5. 6. 7. 8. Count louder. Say it louder, Zach.
All right. Okay. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. You want to do it? Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Drafthouse! Stick around for the Q&A after the show!
Are you jealous of my body? Are you jealous of my body? Yeah. I'm huge. It's all natural. I never took a steroid, brother. It's all natural salami, bologna. and cheese sandwiches with mayo on it. I need extra calories, that's why I put mayo on it. And I drink 4 glasses of milk a day. They didn't call me Corporal Lura on the Marines for nothing. They call me Corporal Lura because I was then and I still am a highly motivated, hard-charging Marine. Hoorah! Yeah, sorry, I'm low on breath from all those push-ups. I'll be back. I'm going to talk more after the show.
Okay. Stick around. It's going to get like that. Let's start the show. 75 minutes of pure rock mania. Before we bring the rock back up on the stage, I just wanted to say that as far as I know, and he might correct us, this might be the first time that there's been a full sold-out show just to appreciate his films on a screen specifically. Is that correct, Laura? So this is a first, and I really wanted to say, truly, that you guys are all really great for being adventurous and true-hearted viewers who try out something that other people might not appreciate as much. So thank you guys so much for coming out to the show. Really, awesome. Before we bring back up our esteemed guest for 15 or 20 minutes of push-ups and shirtlessness, I wanted to mention, if you order a movie from The Rock and you get on his email list, he sends out occasional updates. And a couple years ago, he was working on another werewolf picture, and it was really snowy out. And so he sent an update about how he'd been shooting in the snow. And I just wanted to share this thing with you that went out to the dozens of people that were, receiving these updates that were happening at the time. He said, "I'm really glad I finally did these tough shots in the snow, and I really feel good about myself for just going out there and doing it. Yeah, I'm proud of myself. That's a normal feeling when you do your best and put in the time and effort at what you do and what you feel deep down you should do. I encourage any of you out there to go ahead and make your dreams or visions come true. You can do it just like I did many times. I'm not bragging that I've done it. You too can do your thing. You can make your dreams a reality. If you want to create something, art, movies, drawings, books, etc., just do it. Don't worry if it's good enough in others' opinions, because we all have opinions. You must live with yourself, your conscience, so do what it is you feel you should do, what you want, and share your talent and art with the world." So, the man who wrote those inspiring words, shirt.
I get stopped by the cops for tucking in my shirt a couple weeks ago. I was walking down the street and this raccoon started chasing me. And then a car went by and scared it. So I picked up a stick to scare away the other raccoons. My brother, I was running up here. Anyway, so I'm walking down the street and my pants got loose. I've been doing a lot of leg lifts. I do like 80 leg lifts every other day. I lay down I did 80 of them today. I come down slow in the last run. So, see, Little's abs. Are you jealous of my abs?
Let's see the abs. Can I punch it?
Not too hard. So anyway, I was walking down the street, and all of a sudden a cop, I was tucking in my shirt, and my pants were getting loose. I pulled my pants up, and all of a sudden this cop turns around. When I was walking to River Road, over to the Plains River, where they found some of John Wayne Gacy's victims. Because he was arrested, he was running this Plains Police Department, when he was arrested. He only lived a couple miles from my house. And I went to the same, when I got the first beer I got when I was 19, back in 76, that was the bar where Gacy used to drink. The Snuggery Pub in Edison Park. I catch my breath and running a lot,
John Payne Fakey or John Wayne Gacy?
Yeah, John Payne Fakey.
Okay.
No, John Wayne Gacy, yeah. But I was walking up this Plains River, right when I filmed Werewolf 2010. I was doing those snow scenes, This was another place I filmed, and I filmed the scenes that weren't in snow. I'm throwing the logs and stuff. You can see that on YouTube. Do a search for David Rock Nelson, Werewolf 2010. You can see the clips where the werewolf's throwing the logs. So I was right around there, right where I was filming my scenes. I'm walking down the street, and this was years after I filmed those scenes, but this cop stops. And then 2 other cop cars came. He goes, "Boy, throw that stick down," because I had a stick in my hand because I was trying swat at the raccoons because they were in the bushes. Because there were like 3 small animals in the bushes. This raccoon started chasing me. I was scared. But when a car went by, I got scared and ran into the bushes. But anyway, so I threw the stick down. He says, "Get your hands in the air. Spread your legs." You know, so I'm spreading my legs. And he's feeling my pockets, you know. He's feeling down there where my genitals are, you know. And my friend, Huey Gould, who's in the Marines with me, he says, "Hey, Dave, you should get a good lawyer, Rock." He says, "You got him by the balls." And I can sue the cop for feeling down there. But, you know, they're just doing their job. But you know what? No, I didn't mean it like that. No, they didn't do that to me, you know. I don't like, well, anyway, never mind. Too much information. But you know what? But then they started feeling my pockets, you know, and they started, and, you know, so anyway, then they said, I said, "I don't like being falsely accused. I was just tucking in my pants. My pants get loose. I do a lot of legless. I work out." And I said, "I'm Dave Rock Nelson. I make monster movies." And they said, "Oh, yeah." And I pulled out my flyer. I showed them giant horny toad monster flyer. And I said, "That's me flexing my muscles." He looks and says, "Is that you?" I said, "Yeah, I really got muscles." I started, you know, flexing my muscles. And then I dropped down and started doing push-ups like you saw earlier. And I dropped down, I did like 40 push-ups. And one of the cops said, he says, "What kind of juice you on?" And I said, "I don't take steroids. I'm all natural. I just work out hard and eat good. I drink my milk." And then, then and I kept doing push-ups. I pumped out 40 reps, and one guy says, "Boy, he can do more push-ups than I can." And then I got up, and guess what? I told them I make monster movies, and one guy says, "Do you make porno movies?" I said, "No, there's no nudity in my movies." So, you know, and so, I had a couple flyers. I gave them to a couple cops, and I told them, "Become my fiend on Facebook. Go to my website, davidrocknelson.com. And become my fiend on Facebook. Search for David Rock Nelson," right? So they just walked away. They just realized I didn't do nothing. I guess they didn't want to mess with me. I could do 2 more push-ups than they could. So they get in their car, and one of the cops said, "We'll see you, David Rock Nelson." And that smart guy cop said again, he goes, "What kind of juice you take?" I said, "I don't take steroids. That's cheating. I'm a supporter of strong athletes against steroids. You know, I never took that stuff. That's cheating." Amen. I'm an honest bodybuilder. My mom told me not to cheat. Yeah. All right. Oh, wait, what? Oh, how much I see these pants I'm wearing? Look, see how it's messed up there? That came from today when I was filming chickens in Josh and Matt's backyard. I had chickens, and I was filming like the giant chicken monster. You know, and so I'm making a movie about a giant bird monster. And they got messed up. But these pants right there, these are the same pants I wore in my movie Conrad Brooks vs. the Werewolf. And I wore them as the monster in Frankenstein's Dogs. And I wore them in my upcoming Snow Monster and Tree Monster. Yeah, these pants I've been wearing them since like '93. Yeah, and this is, that's duct tape. See that white there? That's duct tape. That's the Dr. Suave way of repairing pants. He uses duct tape. It's in Scary Monsters magazine. There's a guy called Dr. Suave. He does comics. And I was in a couple of his comics. Yeah, Dave Piper. He's a monster character artist from haunted Pontiac, Michigan. Okay, when I look at it, I got a Rock Nelson t-shirt. Look at it. Look at it. That's me as Count Rockmeister, David Rock Nelson. And look at the back. This says the Edward of the 21st century. Yeah. But here's mine. I'm not selling it yet. I only got 2 left, so I'm going to keep them.
Let me get the lights up if we could, Sebastian. I want to get some, then you guys want to ask a couple questions. We're going to do at least a few questions. Are you cool with that?
Yeah.
3 questions for the audience?
Go ahead.
All right. I assume that somebody here, why you, sir?
What's the difference between a wolf man and a werewolf?
Well, that is something I made up in the movie because I wanted to play both werewolves. But I had Big Joe Shepherd play the wolf man because there's a different kind of mask. It looks more like a wolf man. The one I was wearing looked more like a werewolf. So, you know, I just... the movie's also called Werewolf versus Wolfman. But, yeah, that's all. I just wanted to have some excuse to play 2 werewolves.
There's another hand here.
Yeah.
Where'd you get the nickname The Rock?
Greg Ozzy Osment gave me that name. He was my boxing instructor. My first boxing coach, Oscar Rodriguez, he called me Rocky back in 1986 because he said, "You're always fighting back, just like Rocky Balboa." And I told people, they call me Rocky Balboa. He goes, "No, that is your real name, Rocky. You are Rocky Balboa because you're always fighting back." That's Oscar Rodriguez from Mexico. He used to be a pro boxer. And then Greg Osment said, in 1989, over breakfast, we had breakfast skillets in down in South Park, Parkridge, Illinois. He says, call yourself the Rock, because there's a lot of Rockies, and it could be, it's an Italian word for Rocco, and it could be a Pennsylvania geek. So call yourself the Rock. And this is before that wrestler Rock. This is back in 1989. So, McMahon, I could sue you for stealing my name. You know, McMahon, in charge of wrestling, because he gave that name to the other Rock. But I don't want to mess with Rock. He's a nice guy, and he was good at walking tall. Yeah, he's good at the rundown. Yeah, he's bad. He's too big. I don't want to mess with him. He's a nice guy. Yeah. Oh,
we got another one right here.
Yeah.
How old were you when you made your first film?
That was 1991 when I started. Well, I started making movies before that. My first movie was in high school. I was required to make a movie for photo class for Mr. Dunn at Maine South. And by the way, I had a monster club. I started at age 8. I said, let's start a monster club. My friend Don Stillwater Jr. and Len Lykowski in Park Ridge, his dad, Don Stillwater Sr., was an architect, and he designed Maine North High School also, which was used in the movie The Breakfast Club with Anthony Michael Hall. And his name's in the credits says Don Stillwell. They misspelled it. It's Don Stillwell, W-A-U-G-H, not W-E-L-L. It's Don Stillwell. And he filmed the first movie I was in. When I was 7 years old, I was a zombie coming out of the ground with this Super 8 movie camera. That's back in 1964. And I was like 7. And then in summer of 65, he filmed a movie called Ant Devil. It was like a 3-minute movie where I get bit by a big rubber ant that crawls down a tree. It was directed by Don Stillwater Jr., who's now a wildlife ranger. He looks out for tortoises and reptiles and stuff. He studies them. And he's also an author of articles and books and stuff. Don Stillwater Jr., and he was the president of our Monster Club. And his dad, like I said, Don Stillwater Sr., designed Maine North, Maine South. He was a well-known architect in Park Ridge in Chicago. But anyway, so the first movie I was in was Ant Devil. I was the victim of the rubber ant we got for 25 cents at Ben Franklin 5 and Dime in Park Ridge. It was back in 1965. And then 31 years later, no, I take that back. Back in 1994, which would have been 29 years later, let's see, okay, 65 to 94, that's 29, right? And 29 years later, I started filming my movie, The Devil Ant, which you just saw. I just saw a shorter version. The real version is 2 hours and 35 minutes. If you get it from me on DVD, the full-length Devil Ant, and it's got Roger Corman in it. They didn't cut it out because it was too long. That was natural gas. That's from bringing that Monster Soda, Dr. Pepper. Anyway, yeah, I just want to compliments to the chef tonight for serving the Dr. Pepper, the Monster Soda, yeah. They're at a spooky snack counter now for only 25 cents. Anyway, like I said, so anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so 29 years later, after I was in Ant Devil, I made my movie The Devil Ant, and it's a full-length feature, and it's my story, it's my idea. Atomic fallout radiation turns Ant into the Devil Ant. And then, so yeah, the first movie I was in in a monster movie, I was 8 years old. That was summer of '65. Yeah, and then so, and my first movie I saw was Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. Probably the first monster movie was Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein when I was 4 years old. In spring of '61, when I was 4 years old, and that's when I fell in love with Frankenstein. I started drawing pictures of him and stuff. And when I was 8 years old, I wanted to make movies, but my dad never bought me a movie camera. So like I said, I was in Don Stillwell's movies. And then my first paycheck in the Marines in Subic Bay, Philippines. I was stationed there from 77 to 78. So I was on the Subic Bay boxing team in the Marines. My first paycheck, I bought a movie camera. So I started filming stuff in the Marines. And what you saw, that was Naples, Italy. The headquarters of Detective Rock. They play that English music. That was Naples, Italy. I filmed that in between 78 and 80 with my movie camera because we were in Naples, Italy. We were in Livorno, Italy. I went to Pisa. I got footage of Pisa. I filmed stuff in the Philippines at Subic Bay of me boxing and stuff. Yeah. So I shot that with my Super 8 movie camera. I transferred it to video and edited it into the movie. Oh, and that's public domain music I use, And then, or the music of Matter, the rock group. That Mike Madden who answered the phone. That's he's the drummer for the Matter rock group in Chicago. They let me use their music for free. And War Bonner too. They said I could use their music. They did David Rock Nelson's song. What else do you want to know? Oh, and I go to the Monster Bash every year. Monster Bash convention. It's going to be in Mars, Pennsylvania next July. About like the second week, like the third week of July next summer. Go to monsterbash.us. I'm their most notorious guest of honor. I never shut up. They have to carry me off stage. And I better shut up or these guys carry me off stage. I don't want to tap my chin. Oh, yeah, and become my friend on Facebook. Go to my website, davidrocknelson.com.
If you're gonna
what else do you want to know?
Well, if you're gonna take off now, should we do one more question? But also, he has a handful of DVDs left to sell you guys in the lobby, and you'll autograph them all for free and all that, right?
Yeah, I autographed for free. Only 20 stinking bucks. I got like 4 DVDs left.
So,
I got a copy of Demon Monster from Outer Space left too. I got who wants? You know, I think you guys wanted that for the video store. I got Demon Monster from Outer Space.
We're gonna get one last question from the back right there, and then we're all gonna hang out in the lobby. So, what would you like to ask?
Yeah. What's your favorite monster movie?
The Bride of Frankenstein. Boris Karloff. Sure as my name is Boris Karloff, it shall be a thriller, my friend. So come with me, come, before it's too late. Remember the show Thriller? It's on every Sunday on MeTV. And Svengoolie's on every Saturday at 9 p.m. Central Time on MeTV. Svengoolie, he's my fiend. He's in all my, like a lot of my movies. You saw him in Deathland. Oh, and also Bela Lugosi's one of my favorite actors. I am Dracula. I bid you welcome. I never drink wine, I only drink coffee. But you know, what I was going to say, you know, in Bride of Frankenstein, remember he goes, the monster says, you make man like me. And Dr. Pretorius, he says, no, woman, friend for you. He goes, woman, friend. I want friend like me. Friend good, smoke good, drink good. Frankenstein. Fire no good. Yeah, that's a great movie. When he goes through a graveyard, he goes down and around the crypt and he's drinking with Dr. Pretorius. Yeah, that's my favorite scene in any movie. How about the original King Kong, the 1933, where he's fighting the T-Rex? He's wrestling with it, he's throwing that left hook like Smoking Joe Frazier. Smoking Joe Frazier, left hook. Yeah, I gotta show you I can box too. I can still box. I'm 55, but I still got it. I'm still hard rock. Here.
Let's hear some screams for this.
Move. Dance, champ, dance. David, can I ask one last question? Because we've talked a lot about classic horror. I'm wondering about your idea of modern horror, and who would win in a battle of Frankenstein versus Saw?
Frankenstein, you can't kill Frankenstein.
That was a concise answer.
Saw, forget Saw, it's boring. It's all blood and guts, gore. But the Frankenstein is entertaining. That's why Frankenstein will win, because he's better, and he was here before Saw. He would break that Saw. And the Gillman, too, creature from the Black Lagoon. He's a great monster, too.
The classic monsters are the best monsters?
They would crush that Saw. They would eat it for breakfast as a snack. And my giant horny toad monster would eat up Saw like a bug. Giant horny toad monster, 200 feet of scaly horror. He's bigger than Devilland. And he's more ferocious than Frankenstein. It's my latest movie, Giant Horny Toad Monster. What else you want to know?
Well, we're going to go ahead and meet.
I'll talk to you all night, man. It's there till 2 a.m. We're going to go have some brewskis, and have some Java, and stay up till 5 a.m. And watch monster movies all night till the sun comes up. Then I'll go to sleep. Because even vampires need their sleep. I go to sleep when the sun comes up. Oh,
I'd like to get. No, I just wanted to get one more round of applause for a true American hero.
I finally made it for a big time. I finally made it.
Thank you so much for coming out.
you're welcome. Thanks for having me. Thanks for not kicking me out.
Yeah. And we'll be hanging out in the lobby, and he's got his DVDs and just hang out and talk, and then afterwards we'll take it to IHOP all night. So
become my fiend on Facebook, or I, the rock monster, will get you. Arr. Yeah, DavidRockNelson.com is my website. And become my fiend on Facebook, David Rock Nelson. Yeah.
thank you, Rock!
Hoorah! Hoorah for Marines! Hoorah! Semper Fi! Oh, okay. Okay, I guess I'll shut up now, okay.